Welcome back to another Explainer. Today, we're taking some absolutely brilliant insights from clinical psychologists Dr. Orna Garanik and Jay Shetty to uncover what is really causing that underlying friction in your relationship. You know the feeling, right? Having the exact same argument over and over again? Well, if that sounds familiar, you're in the right place. We're going to break down the hidden forces driving couples apart and, more importantly, give you the concrete steps to build a rock-solid shared foundation based on mutual growth. Let's jump right in.
So most couples assume that if they could just, communicate better, all their problems would just magically disappear. In fact, Dr. Garalik jokes that people often march right into her office essentially asking her to just fix or completely change their partner. We tell ourselves that our problem is just a lack of the right vocabulary or maybe bad timing. But we've got to ask, is that really the core issue, or is communication just the easiest scapegoat?
Well, the fascinating truth here is that so-called poor communication is actually usually just a defensive shield. It's hiding a much deeper, way more uncomfortable reality. Couples will literally subconsciously create these massive roadblocks in how they talk simply because touching the actual nerve of the real issue is just too painful. So what exactly is this real issue lurking beneath the surface?
Here's the crucial point. Your real issue isn't communication at all. It's the profound shock of confronting your partner's otherness. And man, this usually hits you like a ton of bricks the very moment you move in together. You might have had this amazing, off-the-charts chemistry while dating, but suddenly you're living 24/7 with someone who is just fundamentally different from you. And we need to be clear here. This otherness isn't a flaw in your partner. It's literally just the reality of two entirely distinct human beings trying to share one life.
The crazy thing is how these everyday, mundane differences act like a sharp thorn to our egos. Think about something painfully relatable, like how to properly load the dishwasher, or how to fold the laundry. When your partner does it differently than you, it kind of provokes you, doesn't it? Subconsciously, it forces this uncomfortable question. Wait, is my way wrong? Do I actually have to change how I do things? Suddenly, it's not just about the dishes anymore. It's a literal existential challenge to your personal identity.
And when we're faced with this thorn of otherness, our brains immediately start spinning these wild theories just to prove why our way is objectively right and their way is completely wrong. Let's look at a classic example. Hosting a dinner party. One partner wants to scrub the kitchen the very second the last guest leaves just to get some peace of mind. The other partner, they just want to leave the mess and collapse on the couch. Now, instead of just accepting this as a simple difference in habit, our egos step in and fill the blanks. The relaxed partner starts thinking, you're just a nag who doesn't know how to have fun. While the cleaning partner is thinking, wow, you are so lazy and totally shirking responsibility. We literally demonize each other just to protect our own desperate need to be right.
This exact defensiveness builds into the ultimate relationship trap. I mean, why do we react with such intense hostility? Well, first off, just sitting in the discomfort of difference is inherently unpleasant for us. It triggers this primal, desperate need to establish a clear winner and a clear loser. But it goes way deeper than that. We all have this deep, unconscious loyalty to our childhood upbringing. If we actually admit our partner's way of doing something might be better than ours, it kind of feels like we're betraying our own parents, right? Like we're betraying our family traditions. So we end up rejecting their perfectly good ideas just to fiercely protect our past.
And because human beings are naturally pretty self-centered, this is when we start keeping the dreaded scorecard. You know the one. We meticulously log every single overtime hour we work, every time we do the chores, every single time we bravely bite our tongue. But at the same time, we remain completely blind to our partner's unseen contributions. We totally miss all those times they quietly tolerated our bad moods, or steadily held the emotional ship together when things got really rocky. We end up viewing the entire relationship exclusively through the lens of our own effort. So, to break this habit, I highly recommend a specific daily routine. Try implementing a reverse scorecard. At the end of the day, intentionally write down 2 unseen things your partner did to support the relationship, instead of mentally logging your own efforts. It's a real game changer.
Okay, so how do we actually move past this constant conflict and build better communication habits? We do it by completely abandoning the blame game. You've got to follow some concrete steps to replace all that heavy judgment with profound, genuine curiosity about your partner. First up, you have to consciously release that stubborn death grip you have on your own personal narrative. Stop being so absolutely convinced that you are the sole victim in the dynamic. Once you do that, you can redirect your energy. Stop hyper-focusing on every little microscopic thing your partner is doing wrong and take that harsh spotlight and turn it inward.
Seriously, instead of just demanding that your partner change, you need to start asking yourself some really difficult questions to discover what is actually driving your frustration. When you feel that massive spike of anger because the dishes are left out again, just pause.
Ask yourself, why does this bother me so intensely? Is my real underlying fear that I'm going to be stuck doing absolutely everything just like I saw my mother do growing up? What from my own past is actually being stirred up right here? Doing this inward reflection instantly takes the heat off your partner. In fact, try turning this into a 5-minute daily check-in exercise to replace conflict with connection. Before you react to a frustration, take just 5 minutes alone. Ask yourself these exact questions and trace that trigger all the way back to its root.
Notice the massive paradigm shift happening here? The second you get genuinely curious about your own reactions, that blinding, intense heat of blame just naturally dissipates. You literally stop seeing your partner as the enemy. Instead, you start seeing the relationship as a mirror, one that's reflecting the exact areas where you personally need to grow and heal. It opens up this massive, beautiful space for real empathy.
Now, whatever you do, please don't fall for the trap of simple compromise. I know, we are constantly taught that compromise is the absolute gold standard of a healthy relationship. But Dr. Guralnik warns that a simple, I'll give up this if you give up that transaction is often just a quick fix Band-Aid. Why? Because it usually leaves one, or sometimes both people, feeling fundamentally deprived. And over time, that deprivation breeds a quiet, really toxic resentment and this lingering sense of unfairness.
So, the real goal here is to shift away from that compromise scorecard entirely. Instead, you want to act as two equal partners who are co-creating a brand new solution from scratch. Because while a traditional compromise keeps you obsessively focused on your ego and what you had to give up, seeking a true mutual solution forces you to relax those stubborn personal convictions. It asks the question, what is the best possible outcome for the us? It's a total shift from two individuals haggling over a deal to a single, unified team solving a giant puzzle together.
Think of building a shared foundation like designing a brand new house together. You both come from totally different childhood homes, with totally different ways of operating. And hey, you can absolutely take inspiration from those past experiences, bring your favorite metaphorical couch with you. But you cannot demand that this new house perfectly mirrors the one you grew up in. You have to blend your styles. You have to acknowledge your different tastes without declaring that one is inherently wrong. You are effectively sitting down and co-creating a brand new political system for how the two of you will govern your lives as a unified team moving forward.
And all of this friction really highlights exactly why modern relationships struggle so much today. We have all been sold this massive cultural myth that relationships exist primarily for our personal pleasure, our ease, and our comfort. We literally expect a partner to just seamlessly slot into our lives and magically make us happy. But the reality? True, long-lasting partnerships are incredibly demanding vehicles for personal growth and mutual service. And let's be real, growth is the exact opposite of ease. Service is the exact opposite of self-centeredness. Once you actually accept this reality, the friction stops feeling like an immediate deal-breaker, and it starts feeling like the actual meaningful work of love.
So what actionable daily habits can we use to foster this mutual growth? First off, actively assume your partner is contributing in subtle ways that you might just be missing. Always give them the benefit of the doubt. Second, try building a simple routine to reframe their otherness as a strength. Like if they're super meticulous and you're super relaxed, purposefully take a moment to appreciate how they bring order to your chaos, while you bring a sense of calm to their stress. Your differences are actually strengths. And most importantly, make it a daily routine to look at your partner with genuine awe and adoration. You've got to let go of that conditional trap of, I'll fully love you once you fix this one annoying habit. Because projecting a lens of deep appreciation, rather than hypercriticism, will fundamentally change how they show up for you.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to remember that the atmosphere you project out into your home directly dictates the relationship you're going to experience. Think about it. If you look at your partner like they're just some annoying roommate who is constantly failing to meet your standards, they are absolutely going to shut down. But if you purposefully look at them with respect and curiosity, you literally invite their absolute best self to emerge. You are the architect of your shared reality.
I'm going to leave you with this provocative thought to reflect on today. What kind of music are you creating in your relationship right now? Is it a stressful soundtrack of constant criticism, blame, and keeping score? Or are you actively creating the beautiful music of awe that will actually allow your partner to truly thrive? Take a hard, honest look at the tune you're playing every day and ask yourself,